Well, hello and welcome back to your course in mind training. Welcome. Isn't that exciting? Yes, Mind Training 101, A Course in Miracles. So let's guard our thoughts. This is today's message. Guard your thoughts. We're in chapter 2, section 7 now of the text, Cause and Effect. And this is about guarding our thoughts. It's about our own power. And it's about what we practically, experientially do moment to moment, which is where the action lies in all spirituality. As I'm fond of saying, this is an adult endeavor and it's for grown-ups. So welcome. And if you're still watching, and I hope you are, you'll get a lot out of this discussion today, because this is a message that no matter how experienced you may believe you are with this material, this is something that we need to hear again and again, because I'll tell you what, and if you are an experienced course student, I know some of you are, you'll know that the 7th time you go through a passage in the text or the workbook, it's different. You get it on a whole different level. So wherever you are, and even if you're just brand new to this, even if you're just checking out A Course in Miracles, there's going to be a lot you'll get from what we have to say here today anyway, because this is, in fact, universal in theme, it's universal in application. It applies to every single living thing, regardless of spiritual or religious tradition, background, belief, or non-belief. Doesn't matter. Welcome. So, chapter 2, section 7, Cause and Effect. We all experience fear here in the world. It comes in many different forms, many different guises. One minute it looks differently than the next. But we all experience it. And it's tempting here in spirituality to want someone else to take it away, to wipe it all away. We get lazy. I mean, we're lazy in the world. We want something for nothing. We want all the tangible benefits of something, whatever it is, without having to do the work. Or if we actually have to do some of the work, we want to do as little as possible to make everything convenient and efficient so that we can watch more YouTube videos like this one. We want something for nothing. We don't want to do the work. Well, and here you are on the spiritual path, which is an adult endeavor, as I'm certain you've discovered. It's about taking responsibility. It is. It's for adults. It's for grown-ups. It's about taking responsibility for our own experience, for our own thoughts. So I've said quite a bit about cause and effect, and this course says quite a bit about it. It's a prerequisite for really performing miracles, is a thorough appreciation and an understanding of cause and effect. That's what this section of the text is about. And I'm just covering paragraphs 1 and 2 here today with this discussion because there's just so much material here, and it is a lengthy discussion in and of itself. Of course, we can say that about every single section of this course, can't we? So here's the deal. Jesus is not going to remove fear for you. He's not going to remove it for me either. So don't feel singled out in that way. Remember, there is no individual. So, yeah. It's something that we may wish that he could do, but he's not going to do it for us. A lot of us were raised to pray and to supplicate that fear be removed for us, that we get certain things in the material world. that something happened to our political enemies. A mild prayer would be, may they lose at the ballot box, and it gets worse from there, doesn't it? We want someone or something to swoop in and take it all away. But that's not how it actually works. And right here in paragraph 1, Jesus tells us that he is perfectly aware that fear is not real. We're not. We think it's real. We make it real. He knows it's not real. And yes, the suggestion here is he could swoop in and remove it all from our minds, but he will not. To do so would be violating the law of cause and effect, which we need to understand ourselves. If you get something handed to you, you don't appreciate it as much in life, do you? Let's take the example of something that you personally had to work for. Let's say you wanted to buy something and you saved up money in order to buy it. You put in the effort, you put in the work. So you have the satisfaction of being able to purchase that thing. Now, it is a very different thing if it's just handed to you, gifted to you, nothing wrong with that. However, on the spiritual path, if everything's just magically wiped clean for us, we don't have the forgiveness opportunities, and we don't come to fully appreciate the power of mind. We don't get to experience and appreciate our full power, and that is most definitely a disservice. So it doesn't happen that way. We're the ones that are responsible for our own thoughts. And it's up to us to realize our own power. Now, we have help and guidance from your guide or guides, from Jesus, from the Holy Spirit, from whomever your guides are. We have help, but we've got to do the most basic fundamental work ourselves. So we don't guard our thoughts carefully enough. We let separation thoughts rule our entire existence, don't we? We're much too lax, we're much too lenient, tolerant, and if you want to say lazy, aren't we? We think we're independent, self-sustaining survival units running around, doing our thing. And along with that, we define and defend personal territory, and we just allow it left and right, knowing all that does is perpetuate division and the thought system of the ego. Doesn't lead to salvation. We know this. Doesn't lead to awakening. It's not the way home. And we know this. Yet we continue to tolerate it. So this course aims at changing our perception so that we no longer tolerate it. We must guard our thoughts much more carefully. Now, you may think that it would take a miracle to be able to have that kind of awareness and do this. Well, yes, exactly. Jesus uses different words. That's the gist of it. Of course it would. Yeah, naturally. So what he invites us to do here is to get used to miracle-minded thinking. Remember, you are a miracle worker. And yes, I insist that you are. You are a miracle worker. Now, you may say, well, I can't move mountains. I'm not skilled at healing the sick. But a miracle is any shift from fear to love, from the thought system of the ego to the thought system of the Holy Spirit. Anything. No matter how insignificant you may think it is, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. After the introduction to this course, that's the first sentence. They are all the same. We're on the path, a process of appreciating this. How? By doing it, by extending the miracle, by doing it, no matter how tiny or insignificant it may seem to be at the time. There's no need for us to do what we all do from time to time and indulge in comparative reality, thinking that someone else is cooler or sexier or more powerful than we are because they appear to be doing some fantastic, miraculous work. You're just as capable of it as they are. So let's all train our minds. One of the most powerful prayers we can say wherever we find ourselves on the path is let's ask God for help, ask your guide for help in letting truth be as it is, just as it is. Powerful. When we identify as an individual with all the divisions and categories and subcategories that attend that, we block all of this awareness off. We don't allow truth to be as it is because we try to manipulate it ourselves. How's that working out for you? Beautiful, right? Thought so. Yeah, that's why we all still appear to be here experiencing aches and pains and drama and frustration, and we pay bills and check email. Things like that. Jesus invites us to become accustomed to miracle mindedness, fully appreciating cause and effect is a critical and indeed a required step. What we need to do is fully realize the power of our thoughts so we can avoid miscreation, so we don't dig ourselves and other people further into suffering and struggle by going forth and acting like independent, individual, self-sustaining survival units. As you can tell, I'm fond of that phrase, which I once saw on the top of a woman's resume in the 1990s. If you're wondering where the hell I actually got that, that's where. And at the time, I thought, oh, well, that's cool. And now, here as a spiritual teacher, decades later, it's very interesting because that's how we see ourselves when we identify with the ego as individuals. I mean, we really think this is life. If you're new to A Course in Miracles, spoiler alert, it says in many places, indeed in 20 consecutive workbook lessons, that you're not a body. And you know that, don't you? I mean, really, we all do. We do. We do. Now, some of you may be familiar with the Zen Buddhist master, Suzuki Roshi, who wrote in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, great book, by the way. You know something before you learn it. Yeah, Suzuki Roshi. Yeah. You know something before you learn it. You know you're not a body before you discover the idea in lessons 201 through 220 of the workbook and at many other points along your spiritual journey. You know this. You know you're one with God, and you frickin' know here in the world that you are a miracle worker. Again, I insist. So let's safeguard our thoughts. Let's get a full appreciation of the power of our thoughts. Let's allow that, shall we? So that we can fully perform miracles. That's what this course is all about. Now, we're just covering paragraphs 1 and 2 of section 7 here. There's a lot more to come and plenty more to discuss. So as we wrap up here, let's fully appreciate our power. Can we do that? I invite you to do that. And while you're at it, subscribe to this channel. The subscription button's right over here. That's the red arrow. And I'd love to have you. I very much appreciate your commitment and your dedication to your spiritual practice. What's going on here, whatever form this may be taking for you, is you're hearing that voice. You're hearing your inner teacher spurring you on. There's a lot of content on YouTube, clearly. And here you are watching this. So there are multiple reasons why. And you're on this path. I appreciate your dedication and your commitment to it, because this is all about putting these ideas into action. There's no substitute for the action. So if you have questions or comments, please feel welcome to leave them here, and I will see you again very soon. We're going to delve even deeper into cause and effect. And yes, let's set the ego aside.